There's this large financial services company. You've heard of them. They've been around for more than 100 years. Back then, banking was done in person, with a teller. But now, more and more banking is done virtually. And so, this long-standing institution comes to the realization that they need to modernize the way they develop and deploy applications. But how? They start by gathering platform engineers and tech leaders from across business units. They take turns describing their current architecture and their new requirements, and they realize, whoa, this is complicated. Finally, this one leader stands up and says, the one platform that can knit this all together is Kubernetes. And someone else says, I hope it's easier to deploy than it is to pronounce. They decide to start with one of their oldest monolithic applications, a credit risk assessment app developed 20 years earlier. They quickly realize they're going to need an expert to determine whether they can containerize and replatform this type of application. Someone suggests they call the person who built Kubernetes in the first place. So, this huge financial institution calls Joe Beta. They fly him from Seattle to New York and sit him in the same conference room. They spend the entire day walking through their requirements and reviewing the architecture of the credit risk assessment app. Joe listens intently, and finally, when they're all exhausted, they turn to Joe and ask, can we do it? Can we move to Kubernetes? Joe, lost in thought, stares into the distance. The team is worried. Finally, Joe turns around and says, you bet we can do it. And we did. Today, that financial institution is working with VMware to containerize and migrate even more of their business-critical applications, so their developers can spend less time waiting and more time innovating, becoming the best in their industry by building a strong foundation with the expert in digital transformation, VMware. Want to continue the Kubernetes conversation? Visit our page today.